Hello everyone, and let's get right into it. By Who Goes There? The top 10 Las Vegas hotel casinos ranked by current TripAdvisor rating. And let's do it. So first, let us start with number 10, Tuscany Suites and Casino. Kicking off our countdown at number 10, we are heading just 2 blocks off the strip to Tuscany Suites and Casino, a Tuscan-inspired all-suite property tucked into a quiet pocket of East Flamingo Road, close enough to walk to the Sphere but far enough to skip the chaos of the main drag. This is one of those hotels that Vegas regulars swear by because it delivers big, comfortable rooms and a genuinely relaxed vibe without the resort fee, right, sticker shock of the mega casinos. And even guests backs that reputation up over and over. Travelers this year have raved about how spacious and well-appointed the suites are, with several calling their rooms some of the roomiest they have had anywhere in the city, complete with sitting areas, dining tables, and little kitchenettes set up that makes a long stay feel like home. One guest specifically praised a late-night TV repair that got fixed by a technician in under 5 minutes, close to midnight, calling out just how responsive the staff can be. Others highlighted the lively nightly entertainment in the Piazza Lounge, the Rat Pack tribute show on property, and the $8.95 steak special at Pub 365, which multiple reviewers said they took advantage of more than once. The pool got consistent praise for being clean and well kept, and the manicured ground and gardens earn a lot of love too, giving the property a genuinely different feel from the glass and neon towers on the strip. That says this year's reviews went without some real friction. A cluster of recent guests ran into trouble with microwave availability since the rooms don't come with one built in, and several travelers said their requests went unanswered for days despite being told microwaves were available on request. A few guests also reported lingering cigarette smell in supposedly non-smoking room, with one saying the fix offered was just a spray of hair freshener that didn't really solve the problem. That was a rough amount of them involving a housekeeping lapse that took too long to resolve, and a couple of reviewers mentioned inconsistent front desk service during busy period, including long lines when the desk was short-staffed. Wi-Fi complaints came up too, with more than one guest saying the free connection in the main building and casino was spotty enough that they gave up on it. Still, the overwhelming sentiment is that for the price and for how close you are to the action, without paying strip prices, Tuscany delivers real value, and a lot of guests said flat out they'd book again. At number 9, we have South Point Hotel, Casino and Spa. Sitting further south of the strip in the Enterprise area, roughly a 15-minute drive to the heart of the action. This is a genuinely massive property built for people who want to disappear into one giant complex for a weekend, complete with a 64-lane bowling center, a 16-screen movie theater, and one of the most respected equestrian centers in the country, where you can actually catch live horses shows during your stay. Recent reviewers consistently point to South Point as one of the best value plays in the entire Las Vegas hotel scene right now. Guests this year kept mentioning how enormous and comfortable the rooms are, often calling them bigger than they expected for the price, with plush bedding, roomy bathrooms, and daily housekeeping that more than one traveler said felt like a rarity these days. Free parking and free airport shuttle service came up again and again as a big draw, especially from guests who had grown tired of paying strip-level parking fees everywhere. Food and drink prices got singled out repeatedly repeatedly as far more reasonable than the Strip, and several reviewers pointed to the on-site convenience store beating gas station prices right across the street. The casino floor earned praise for wide open aisle and a genuinely lively, unpretentious atmosphere with locals and serious poker players mixing in a way that felt more authentic than some of the tourist-heavy casinos downtown. On the downside, a few recent stays hit real snags. One guest reported a room that hadn't been properly cleaned and said management couldn't relocate them, leaving the issue unresolved for 2 days. Another traveler ran into a frustrating stretch trying to get a microwave accommodation for a disabled child's meals, describing a slow and inconsistent response from hotel leadership before the situation was resolved. There was also a complaint about a malfunctioning slot machine and a slot technician who reportedly blamed the guest instead of apologizing. And one review flagged long elevator waits during a busy stretch when one couple of the 6 elevators were running. Even so, the location trade-off seems worth it for most of the people who stayed this year, especially those attending events like the NASCAR weekends or bowling tournaments, with several guests saying they have officially switched their Las Vegas home base away from the Strip and over to the South Point for good. At number 8, we've got one of the most iconic names in Las Vegas history, Caesar's Palace, setting dead center on the Strip with a location score that genuinely can't be beat, right across from the Bellagio fountains and steps from the Forum shops. 5 towers, over 3,500 rooms and a 4-diamond AAA rating make this a bucket list stay for at least the first-time Vegas visitors, and it shows in a sheer volume of reviews it racks up every single year. The best of this year's review genuinely glow. Guests praise individual staff member by name over and over, from front desk host to poker room servers, calling out standout hospitality that made their trip feel personal despite their property massive scale. The Augustus Tower rooms in particular got singled out for their views and spaciousness, and reviewers loved the unbeatable walkability with the Colosseum, the Forum shops, and world-class dining like Le Cirque, all just steps from the elevator bank. Several guests mentioned the casino smoke filtration doing a noticeably better job than most competing properties. And the Bell staff earned consistent shout-outs for handling luggage quickly and cheerfully. But the recent reviews also paint a clear picture of guest frustration around fees, and it is the single biggest recurring themes. Travelers this year flag early check-in charges as high as $65, mandatory refrigerator fees, expensive minibar sensors charged that triggered even when items were just moved around and put back, and a resort fee that several guests felt delivered very little in return. More than one reviewer described billing dispute at checkout that took real effort to resolve, and a few called out inconsistent, sometimes unfriendly front desk interaction, particularly around room type mixed up when groups book multiple rooms expecting to be near each other. On a positive note, when service issues did happen, Caesar's management team was notably responsive in the reviews, personally replying to nearly every complaint, with direct contact information and a genuine effort to make things right. For travelers who prioritize that unbeatable center strip location and don't mind budgeting extra for the resort fee ecosystem, Caesar's Palace remains a bucket list stay that consistently delivers on atmosphere, even if the fine print takes some getting used. Coming in number 7, Fontainebleau Las Vegas is the newest kid on the block here. At 67-story tower that opened at the very end of 2023 near the convention center on the north end of the strip, bringing 70 years of Fontainebleau brand history from Miami out of the desert. With over 3,600 rooms, 150,000 square feet of gaming space, and a widely praised Le Pis spa, this property has quickly built a following among travelers looking for something sleek and modern. The recent guest sentiment has been genuinely strong on the fundamentals. Reviewers this year repeatedly called the rooms modern, spotless, and beautifully designed, with several highlighting thoughtful touches like in-room cooling drawers for keeping drinks cool, an elevated bath product that felt genuinely luxury grade. The pool district picking up a lot of love too, especially for offering free umbrellas, which one guest pointed out is surprisingly rare in Vegas, where shades usually come with a price tag. Dining got serious praise across the board, from La Fontaine, elegant breakfast service, to Pappy Steak, high-energy dinner scenes, and the food hall surprisingly good pizza. Guests also appreciated that the property never felt as overcrowded or chaotic as some of the bigger strip resorts, giving it a calmer, more relaxed energy despite its size. That said, being a newer property hasn't spared Fontainebleau from real growing pains in the year's review. Multiple guests flagged inconsistent customer service, including mixed messaging about complimentary perks like late checkout and rollaway beds that later showed up on unexpected charges on the final bill. A few travelers were surprised by standard rooms with obstructed views despite marketing language promising mountain vistas, and it took some persistence to get relocated to a room that matched expectation. Housekeeping lapses came up more than once, including reports of tempered in-room snacks not being replaced and lingering cleanliness issues in the bathroom. There was also a couple of accounts involving early housekeeping check-ins before check-in time and confusion over fine hotels and resort late checkout benefits. Even with those hiccups, the sheer numbers of 5-star reviews from guests calling it their new favorite Vegas hotel suggests the Fontainebleau is winning people over fast, and most complaints centered on communication rather than the physical property itself. Number 6, we are heading out to Summerlin, about 20 minutes from the Strip, to the Red Rock Casino Resort and Spa, a Station Casino's property that's become a go-for to locals and visitors who want a genuinely resort-style experience with none of the Strip crowds. With 9 pools, a bowling alley, a movie theater, stunning views of the actual Red Rock Canyon in the distance, it's easy to see why so many guests treat it as a full self-contained getaway. Guests this year consistently praise the sheer scope of amenities here, pointing to the food court, the bowling lanes, and the Kids Quest childcare center as reason families keep coming back. Several reviewers highlighted how clean and comfortable the rooms are, with deep soaking tubs and large 2-sink vanities getting specific mention, plus stunning canyon views from higher floors. Free parking came up as a real relief for locals tired of Strip parking fees, and the casino slot payout got a few nods as friendlier than some Strip counterparts. The lounge area near the lobby, with its grand chandelier and live music, was called out as a great spot to unwind, and guests love that the pool area doesn't allow outside visitors, keeping things calmer for hotel guests only. The flip side this year has been noise complaint, and they came up often enough to be a real pattern. Multiple guests described loud nightclub-style events and parties on certain floors that made sleep difficult, with a few saying front desk and security response times to noise complaints were too slow. The resort fee also drew criticism, especially from guests who visited in the winter month when the pool area was only partially open, leaving them feeling like they paid for amenities they couldn't actually use. A couple of travelers mentioned the pool scene skewing more towards a lively, day club vibe on weekends than a quiet family pool, which caught some parents off guard. Despite those complaints, the property's value proposition, the free parking, the comfortable rooms, and a genuinely different pace from the Strip keeps a local base of guests coming back trip after trip, especially those who prioritize peace and quiet over proximity to the casino lights. Number 5 brings us to a piece of genuine Vegas history, the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, the former stomping grounds of Elvis Presley himself, who played 837 consecutive sold-out shows here. Sitting right next to the convention center with its own monorail stop, this massive property blends old-school Vegas charm with a world-famous race and sportsbook and Benihana's original Las Vegas location, Benihana's. Recent reviews lean heavily into Westgate's unique sense of history and value. Guests love discovering the Elvis memorabilia and displays scattered around the property. And several travelers say staff members went out of their ways to create memorable moments, like an usher upgrading concert seats or bellman sharing inside tips with a warm, genuine welcome. The location next to the monorail earned consistent praise for making Strip access easy without paying Strip prices to stay here. Benihana came up again and again as a standout dining experience, with reviewers calling the fried rice some of the best they've had anywhere. The entertainment lineup, including Barry Manilow's residency, Motown tributes, and various headliner shows, was another frequently mentioned highlight, along with the massive sports book for game day. On the other hand, this year's reviews made clear that the property shows its age in places. Several guests described their rooms as outdated despite advertised renovation, and there were repeated complaints about persistent cigarette smell even in requested non-smoking rooms. A couple of stays involved slow housekeeping response, and one particularly rough account involving a director allegedly using inappropriate language during a dispute over a resort's fee with the guests formally escalated. Guests also flagged aggressive timeshare sales pitches in the lobby as an unwelcome and frequent occurrence, along with air conditioning issues that took multiple maintenance visits to resolve in any case. Despite the mixed maintenance feedbacks, most recent travelers still walked away charmed by the history, the value, and the convenience of the monorail, with several saying they'd return specifically for the nostalgia and the unbeatable price-to-location ratio near the convention center. Sliding into the number 4 spot is the Venetian Resort, one of the most recognizable names on the entire Strip, famous for its indoor canals, singing gondoliers, and a location that puts you within walking distance of practically everything, including the Sphere. With over 4,000 rooms and a 100% walkability score, it is no surprise this property racks up more reviews than almost anywhere else in the city. This year's glowing reviews focus heavily on the sheer grandeur of the place. Guests repeatedly called out of the stunning architecture, the indoor canals, and the convenience of being able to walk straight from the hotel to Sphere shows without dealing with the Strip traffic at all. The self-check-in kiosk earned praise for speeding up arrivals, and multiple travelers mentioned exceptional spa treatments at the Canyon Ranch, along with genuinely attentive staff who went out of their way to accommodate laundry requests and late-night maintenance issues. Several reviewers on repeat visits said the Venetian remains their top pick for over every other Strip property, citing the sheer varieties of restaurants and shops and that let you spend an entire trip without ever leaving the resort. But recent reviews also flag some inconsistent pain points. Cigarette smoke in the main casino walkways came up over and over as a genuine concern, with more than one guest calling it unhealthy for children or anyone with respiratory issues. A handful of travelers experienced cleanliness lapse at check-in, including one particularly rough account of stained sheets that took hours to resolve. Poor share availability was another recurring complaint, with guests frustrated to find large numbers of lounges marked reserved and sitting empty for hours. A few reviewers also ran into billing mix-up over device limits and resort fee discrepancy, and the sheer size of the property earned a mixed reaction, with some guests loving the grand door and others finding the long walks to the elevators and rideshare pickup genuinely exhausting. Even with those recurring gripes, the Venetian's blend of luxury, location, and Sphere proximity keeps it firmly in the upper tier of Vegas hotel casino, and the volume of 5-star praise this year makes clear it's still winning over first-timers and repeat guests alike. Landing at number 3, there is the Venetian's slightly quieter sister property, the Palazzo. Connected by an indoor walkway but carrying its own distinct identity, generally considered the more relaxed, the more residential feeling half of this Strip mega resort. With sunken living rooms in its suites, and a prime spot near the Sphere, Palazzo consistently pulls in guests looking for a step up in tranquility without leaving the Venetian ecosystem behind. Recent guest feedback leans strongly positive on the fundamentals. Travelers this year repeatedly described the suites as some of the most spacious and beautifully appointed on the Strip, highlighting sunken living areas, marble bathroom, and thoughtful touches like electronic curtains and dual TVs. The Prestige Lounge access came up frequently as a standout perk, with guests praising the welcoming staff, the open bar hours, and the willingness of servers to accommodate special requests. Several reviewers called out individual front desk associates by names for turning up a routine check-in into something memorable, including surprise upgrades with sphere views for special occasions like anniversaries. Dining continued to impress too. The Mercato della Pesceria and the Grand Lux Cafe earning consistent praise, and the overall vibe was frequently described as luxurious without feeling stuffy or over the top. At the same time, this year's less glowing reviews point to a pattern worth knowing about before you book. Multiple guests ran into confusion over American Express fine hotels and resorts credits, discovered that certain restaurants or purchase types unexpectedly didn't count toward advertised benefits. Pool seating drew real frustration too, with guests reporting weekend day bed rentals prices as high as $150 for a single chair, on top of the already paid resort fee. A couple of reviewers experienced in-suite dining orders arriving incorrect, and one guest described housekeeping issues involving stale-smelling linens. Billing discrepancies and billing transparency also came up as a concern, with one traveler unable to get an itemized breakdown of charges after checkout. To their credit, order management responded personally and thoughtfully to nearly every review this year, acknowledging the issues and offering to make things up and makes things right, and the overwhelming volume of 5-star praises for the room and the staff suggests Palazzo remain one of the most reliably excellent stays on the Strip. Our runner-up might surprise people who don't know it, but Silverton Casino Lodge has built one of the most devoted following in all of Las Vegas. Tucked about 5 miles off the Strip near the freeway, this lodge-style property blends a 90,000 square foot casino, a genuinely flagship Bass Pro Shops, and a 117,000 gallon aquarium into one uniquely down-to-earth Vegas experience. The recent reviews here are about as consistently glowing as they come. Guests describe the rustic luxe rooms as cozy, spacious, and put beautifully redesigned after a recent renovation, with fridges and microwaves that guests say make a real difference for longer stays. Twin Creeks Steakhouse, named the best casino restaurant by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, came up consistently as a must-try, alongside praise for the on-site Starbucks and the Mexican and diner option scattered across the property. What's really stand out of this year's reviews, though, it is the staff. Guest after guest singled out specific employees by name, from valet to housekeeping to casino dealers, describing a level of warmth and genuine hospitality that's rare to find in a city this size. Several longtime guests mentioned returning year after year, some over a decade, citing comps and reward that feel more generous than that they get on the Strip, plus a heated, recently renovated pool that guests call perfect for an all-day hangout. The complaints this year were few and fairly isolated. One guest described a frustrating dispute over comp stay extension that ended with an unpleasant interaction and being asked to leave, though it appears to be an outlier rather than a pattern. A few reviewers noted that getting to the Strip requires an Uber or hotel shuttle, running $20 to $30 a round trip. Though most guests said that the money saved by staying at off-Strip more than made up for it. Beyond that, the overwhelming theme across dozens of recent 5-star reviews is genuine guest loyalty. People treating Silverton less like a hotel, more like a home base they return to trip after trip. Drawn in by the aquarium, the shopping, and a staff that consistently makes guests feel like more than just a room number. And taking the number one spot of our countdown is Wynn Las Vegas, widely guarded as one of the crown jewels of the entire strip, sitting on the quieter north end near the Sphere and Encore. As the world's largest five-star resort, Wynn brings together sun-like atriums, an 18-hole golf course that's the only one directly on the strip, and a level of polish that's kept it at the top of the Vegas hospitality for 2 decades running. This year's review made clear why Wynn keeps earning that reputation. Guests repeatedly describe the property as a consistently elite, reliable stay, with several long-time visitors saying that they have stayed 5 or more times and the quality never wavers. Spacious, impeccably maintained rooms came up consistently, along with praise for the excellent Far East breakfast selections. A detailed international travelers especially called out as a refreshing change from typical American buffet fare. The high-limit slot areas, which I went there myself, area and Baccarat salon earned praise for striking a genuinely elegant, comfortable balance between excitement and sophistication, and Wynn's luxury shopping corridor got repeated shout-out as some of the best boutique browsing in the entire city. Staff services, particularly around the pool, spa, golf course, was consistently called impeccable, with guests describing upgrades to suite overlooking the Sphere and the golf course as a regular, pleasant surprise for loyal visitors. That said, even a property at the top of its game has room for criticism, and a handful of recent reviews flagged real frustration. Several guests described lengthy delays getting to their rooms well past the advertised 3 p.m. check-in time, with one 20-year local loyal guest saying a 5.5-hour wait paired with an unsympathetic front desk response ended their loyalty to the property entirely. Noise complaints came up too, specifically from guests placed in golf course view rooms situated near the nightclub, with bass and late-night sound checks disrupting the sleep. A few travelers were caught off guard by add-on charges for internet and minibar items, given the already premium nightly rate, and there were isolated complaints about inconsistent front desk communication around room upgrades and promised amenities like champagne or chocolate for special occasions. Even with those hiccups, the sheer volume of 5-star praises this year, especially around service, dining, and the overall sense of refined luxury, cements Wynn Las Vegas as a top-rated hotel casino in the city right now, and the property most guests describe as worth the splurge. Hopefully you enjoy what you've heard. I think that there was top 10 looks pretty cool. So see you soon with more information for you and for your next vacation.